Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and well, I'm doing this a little bit early, and the reason being that I've still got a few internet issues going on. I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as the other day, but the other day I was uploading from a laptop because I had to. I had the tutorial for the square, the tutorial for the chick. So then I'll put them together to make one long video and then uploaded it. And then obviously it was a left-handed one as well. But it took one of them hours. I mean, literally, I started around 2ish, finished at 10:30 at night. It was that bad. And I'd been on the phone. I'd had to cancel it a few times because we had to reset routers and, you know, restart this. And anyway, they did get on in the end, but since then, I've been doing speed tests, and they're not the best, but they're nowhere near as bad as they were when it was taking that long. It was a speed test of 1, so you know they're not that bad now. But now, if I try and do one on my computer, it says, "Oh, we've encountered a problem. Contact your provider." So you know, but my videos are uploading, so I won't contact them until I've got time, really. So yeah, so, you know, doing them all at once, and then I can upload them as and when I can. So I just did a little Saturday giveaway because Easter's coming and I wanted to do that. So don't miss out on the Saturday and the Sunday because both are going to be wow. Last night, me and Gary, we went out with Gary's brother. And when he asked us, he said he had some discount for a pub on the island that does food. It's a Green King pub. And he said, I've got discounts. Do you want to come out? So I said to Gary, you might as well. I mean, I can find stuff on the menu I can have wherever we go. And because Gary's not quite sticking with a diet yet, guys. His idea, you know. But, you know, he had beer in the fridge and he's been doing DIY and he wanted to have the beer and he wanted to use his rice up, all that sort of thing. Anyway, so we went and he said, oh, we're going at 7. We'll meet at 1:45 because we're meeting the others there. And I said, who are the others then? Well, it turns out that the guy who did our bathroom, his name's Gareth. It was him, his wife and their kids. And some others that Martin's friends and their families, and there was a big crowd of us, and we had wasn't, as it turns out, the menu weren't that great for me, but I chose steak Americano and ribs. Well, obviously I had barbecue sauce. I couldn't be off it, really. They did have a warm chicken and bacon salad, but it was as dry as anything. I'm glad I didn't choose it. But rather stupidly, because he had discount vouchers for the meal, and then he had some for beer. And it meant that you got 40% off your beers. So all the men were having beers. I was driving, obviously. And I just don't know what got into me. I just said, I'll have an alcohol-free beer then. So I had alcohol-free Stella, and I must have had 4 of them. And it wasn't until I'd made my way through my second one, I suddenly thought, might be alcohol-free, but it isn't carb-free, is it? So even though I hadn't really had much in the way of carbs, I'd kind of killed it, really, with beer. I thought, oh, well, I might as well just drink them now. So I had 4 in the end. But they were nice, you know. It was nice. I don't mind the odd beer. I was drinking Diet Coke before that. But, you know, the barbecue sauce was a bit. Gary did offer to swap steaks with me because he had a plain one. But I thought, I've already got ribs, so no point in that, really. But I had bacon and cheese on mine. So, or bacon and barbecue sauce, anyway. Oh, and I ordered halloumi fries. I thought, oh, you can have halloumi. When they arrived, they'd been deep fried in batter. Ew. So, I just shelled them like, you know, if you shell a prawn, shrimp, guys, across the pond. But I just shelled them all and took the ends off and ate the halloumi cheese out of them. And there was this big pile of batter, and it was like, oh, you took all the batter off. And yeah, I couldn't. It was greasy for a start. You know, who wants that? It's like the other day we were having we had our breakfast, and then Gary didn't want veg. It's a bit of an ongoing thing trying to get Gary to eat veg. So he didn't really want veg. We're gonna have it today though. And so he said, oh, can we have halloumi cheese and this, that and the other? And I couldn't eat my dinner. And I gave him one of my a bit of my lamb chops. I gave him about 3 or 4 things off my plate. And he was like, well, why are you not eating it? I was like, because I don't really want too much fried food. I said, it's too greasy. I can't bring myself to eat it, you know. It's just too much. I had fried food for breakfast. I mean, I grilled my bacon for breakfast. It wasn't everything fried, but obviously I had mushrooms and egg. So I said, I just don't want all this grease. I can't do it. It's just too much. So I was giving him my food because and I wasn't really that hungry, thank goodness. And I had a piece of chicken, like tiny bit of chicken that was left over from the day before, and I'd put them in the air fryer. I know I reheated them. I probably shouldn't have done, but never mind. Still alive, you know. So yeah, I kind of been doing really well on it until last night. But the beer was the one that had kind of sent me a little bit over. But never mind. It's early days, and it was nice. It was nice to go out, nice to talk to people, have a laugh, and you know, get out the house and go out, real out, you know. Yeah, that was good. And I said to Gary, you know, it's nice to have a social life sometimes, you know, even if it does make you have a little bit of a blip. We were also invited to a meal tonight because one of the guys that was there was his birthday, and they're going to the Indian restaurant that we like. And I said, well, if you want to go, we'll go, because I can have an Indian mixed grill, and that's fine, and I will stick with that. Even though I'll have to smell the sagaloo, I would just stick with the Indian mixed grill. So enough of food. Enough already. No, it's not a foodie, is it? It's not a foodie channel. You would be forgiven for thinking it was, because it's such a dominant thing for me at the moment. Diets, food, and all that stuff. And hello, my little llama wants to say hello. Hello. And keeping little Chicky company at the moment. The others are there because I'm displaying my eggies for now. So yeah, they won't be there for long. Let's see. Well, I think it's the same, isn't it? It's just a weekend picture, but it is a Grogu. Oh, look how cute is the Grogu. Still don't know. I think it still looks like a sausage, but it's not. Grogu. Gotta have the Grogu. Let's see. Did I read the whole page, or did I turn the page? Where am I up to? I think I'm on this one. It just occurred to me that if my daughter becomes a famous artist, I've already thrown out maybe $1 million worth of her work. Hang on, the hair was inside. Every Thanksgiving I make dinner for my entire extended family because I'm the only one who has Stockholm syndrome. Isn't that where you like fall in love with your captors? I don't know. It is, isn't it? It's like if you get kidnapped, you fall in love with your captor. At Valley Girl. Hey, parents of an only child considering having one more. Know that I just split an M&M in half. An M&M in half. Yeah. When my kids were little, they didn't get that, you know. Oh, mind you, I'd have just ate it myself. There was only one left. Unless I was on a diet, of course I wouldn't have then. Anyway, you know, they didn't get the jealousy thing. They were very good kids like that. They didn't have jealousies. And if we went out, and well, mostly I'd go out and spoil them both. Because I was terrible. I spoilt my kids. I did. Don't mind saying that I did. I actually spoilt them bad. And but if one of them got a present, or if I found, say for instance, I was in a shop and I saw a top that one of them would like, but there wasn't a top the other one would like, they wouldn't get the ump, you know, the ump, not the hump, but the ump. They wouldn't get, you know, disgruntled about it, because they knew that the next time I'd probably find something for them, but not the other one. And they didn't really get that, he's had something more than me thing. But mostly I'd buy them all everything anyway, and there wasn't that many times when they didn't get stuff. Even when it was one's birthday, I'd buy the other one a present. So I'd buy the one whose birthday it is lots, and the one whose birthday it wasn't one or two. That was two, wasn't it? One on each. So anyway, they were like, you know, very I'd say emotionally stable back then. Oh, me. No, seriously, they're still like that, really. They don't get all disgruntled, bent out of shape. Anyway, what else have I got to tell you? Let me think. Nope, there isn't anything. I'm just a big blank. No, there must be something. It was such a good time last night, though. It was nice to talk to different people and get out the house and put some makeup on. I actually put a bit of makeup on. I didn't have my usual only look of slut, you know. What I did was I got a little bit of kind of gold, but it was beige first, and then I put a little bit of gold shimmer on, and then a tiny kind of, it was grey really, but it was more of a, so it didn't look stark and black underneath, and then mascara, and then I had very subdued, nice coloured lipstick. Yeah, check me out. Wasn't, you know, vampish or anything. It's quite subtle. It can be done. I never used to practice. That's the thing. And what brought it home to me was when I was maybe I was 17. I was almost 18, and I met this girl when I was looking after my nan in the lift, and she was a few years younger than me. She knocked at the door one day when my nan was at her club, right? Over 60s, you know. She was well over 60, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I let her in, and she sort of all this stuff, and I went, what you got there? She went, makeup, we're going to have a play. And I went, oh, okay. So she opened it up. There's always makeup, and she said, well, just practice and then take it off and practice again and like do different stuff. And I thought, that's where I went wrong. I didn't do any of that as a kid. I didn't, you know. I did that one time with her, and that was it. I never really, and my makeup skills were awful back then. No, they really were. But just thankfully, makeup was awful back then. Do you remember like the blue under the eye and blue mascara? Yeah, like, and when I say blue, I mean blue. You know. Yeah, the 80s were fun with makeup. I loved them, you know. I loved the 80s. And everybody like looks back and goes, oh, the 80s fashion, all that. I loved it. What are you talking about? It was brilliant. It was the 70s fashion that was iffy, with a big cuppa tie, you know, lapels. Those platform shoes and blooming great bell bottoms. So horrible. Horrible. At least the 80s was stylish, and, you know, or I didn't like the designer jeans thing. I mean, I liked jeans like Levi's or Pace or Pepe or Lee Cooper and all the names that were around at the time, Wrangler. But I didn't like the Gloria Vanderbilt, you know, £250 a pop jeans with glitter in them. You know, it's like, stick them where the sun don't shine. Don't really need any of that in my life. So, anyway, but, you know, the shoulder pads are a bit, you know, bit hard to get used to sometimes. And they always seem to, like, when you washed your garment, whatever it was, they'd go into kind of a little, and so you'd end up with a weird shape, and you're trying to pull it out. I just take them out. Take them out. It's the only way to go. So yeah, I loved 80s fashion, 80s music, 80s fashion. It was, and 80s movies. They knew how to make movies back then, you know. And the early 90s, they knew how to make movies. They don't anymore. But having said that, saw a trailer Mike sent me a piece of a trailer, but I don't think he knew it was a trailer. And it was for The Naked Gun. And then Paul sent me the whole trailer. And it is so funny because you've got Liam Neeson playing Frank Drebin Jr., I guess. And they're standing there looking at a gallery, and he's looking at a painting of Frank, and he says, "Oh, Dad, I miss you." And then Nordberg's son looks at Nordberg and says, "Hey, Dad, I miss you." And then there's this black guy looking at Jay Simpson, and he just goes, This is like really funny. You had to be there, I suppose. But it's really good, and I'm looking forward to it. And I said to Gary about it, and he went, "Oh, I didn't really like that." I was like, "I'm going to see it without you if you don't ever want to see it." But he will come with me. But he said, "Oh, maybe we should all go." Imagine that would take over the cinema. But it does look good. It really does. So looking forward to that one. And I like Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's pretty decent as an actor. So yeah, it looks good. But it's been a long time. But you know what I mean? They don't really make that many movies that are just, every single one that comes out is amazing like back then. They were. You know, you had Terminator, and Terminator 2 was even better, and you had all the Rockies, and you had Back to the Future trilogy, and then there was, oh, my kids love Predator. That wasn't my biggest sort of thing. And Rambo, they loved them too, but they were okay. Gary loves Rambo, Predator and all that, but I think it's more of a manly thing, that. But anyway, all the Alien movies, they were so good, so good. And what do they make now? Tumbleweed goes across the screen while I try and think of anything. Seems like all of the ideas people and good story writers seem to have just gone. We need new ones, don't we? We need some new stuff. But they're making pretty decent telly, at least. Sort of. Anyway, hopefully I'm not going to have massive issues trying to upload my video. I've already uploaded my shopping video and what I bought while I was there. And I could have lingered over a lot more of the stuff, but I didn't want to. There was a reason for it. And it's because I'm going to use those things in tutorials to come. And I didn't really want to labour the points. But I shall. Anyway, I'm going to get off and upload. And I will see you guys on the next one. So take care. And don't forget to check out my Granny Square video, which was up like very, very late. And it was annoying. Hopefully I'll get my issues sorted out over the next few days. And we've just been accepted, I nearly forgot to tell you, we've just been accepted with our new doctor. So one of the guys I was talking to last night said, "I'm with that surgery, I don't want to burst your bubble, but they're not that great." I was like, well, the one I was with weren't that great anymore. So and the way you have to make an appointment is exactly the same, so it's not going to be any worse there. So they've asked us if we want to go along for an initial MOT. You know, when I say MOT, people across the pond won't know what that is. It's just an initial medical, I guess, just to, you know, go and chat to them and so they can get to know you a little bit. And I think we both need to do that, because Gary needs to get his hand sorted out because he's getting pins and needles. But his brother said he had that, pins and needles, and he had physio on his neck, and they just released something and it all went away. So hopefully that's as simple as that, because obviously he's starting to think, oh, it's going to be arthritis. But so we need to kind of get it looked at so we know exactly what we're dealing with. And he's got the heel problem as well, so yeah, so we need to get him in, and I might as well, Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.